Hello everyone, I'm Chris O'Brien, the current president of the Quilters Guild of South Australia. I'm here today with Tara Sniedze, a well-known and much-loved South Australian quilter who produces the most amazing quilts. And I in fact am totally in awe of her talent and skills. So hi Tara.
Hi Chris, how are you going?
Tara, before we begin, I just need to ask if you are okay with the fact that this video is likely to be posted on YouTube and Facebook for promotional purposes, and of course to inform and entertain everyone. And I tell you everyone, looking around at what Tara's got here, we are definitely going to enjoy what we see today. So thank you.
Thank you.
Tara, I first met you around about 1999, 2000. We were at Irene Carrick's house. We were doing a Dear Jane stitch along.
On our journey.
On our journey. And I've always promoted the fact that whenever I spend time with quilters, I learn something. And this is my extremely belated 22 year later acknowledgement that I learned something from you that day.
Thank you.
You were the first person who had done pieced blocks using a variety of different backgrounds. And I had never seen that done. It sounds so silly these days because it's a default technique. But back then it was quite different. And your Dear Jane sparkled. It absolutely did. I remember spending lots of time thinking about how did she do that? Where did she get that idea? So this is my very belated acknowledgement. And thank you, because I've used that technique many times since.
I have to admit it wasn't really something that I planned to do, but when I started my Dear Jane, I was brand new married with a tiny baby, and we'd just finished building a house. So I really didn't have the funds to go out and buy lots and lots of yardage. So I just used what I had really. But another part of that was that I just didn't really think that I would make the whole quilt.
I understand, it's pretty daunting. In fact, for a first project, it's an amazingly daunting pattern. So were you brave or
I think
naive?
Naive. I bought the book on retreat. I had made a couple of quilts before, but nothing particularly big or nothing particularly difficult. But I just saw the book and thought, oh, what a cute book. I could make a couple of blocks from that. And I did, and I sort of got hooked in. I think if I'd have known better, I would have been intimidated by it and wouldn't have taken it on in any means. So, yeah, maybe it was lucky that I was actually a newbie quilter.
But it's certainly not the only quilt you've made with several gazillion tiny pieces, is it? Yeah, here we go. This is Oh My Gosh.
Yeah.
And what about Nearly Insane? Is that around, or do we see that later?
Nearly Insane.
Gone AWOL.
No, that's it right there.
Oh, she's Nearly Insane here.
It's right in front of me.
Yeah.
I guess that's a bigger block, or a less piece block than some of them, so it didn't jump out at us. But yeah, that one's pretty crazy too. Yeah. And Mrs. Billings in here. Yeah.
So what is it about these scrappy quilts that are so appealing to you?
I don't know. I wish I had an answer for you that was interesting, but I just seem to like to put as much fabric in a quilt as I can. I think, you know, when a quilt has lots of different things to look at, it really does shine.
Yes.
You know, there's never really a lot of places for your eye to rest. So even with the quilt I'm working on at the moment, you know, the original quilt just had a few fabrics, but I've chosen to just use lots of fabrics because I just like the way it makes it different.
Yes.
So,
no, that makes sense. That makes sense.
That's me.
In fact, you've had a love of reproduction style quilts, reproduction fabrics, and we've had a peep in the cupboard that's here behind us, and we might give everyone a peep later on. But it is chock-a-block with reproduction fabrics. Okay. What is it about those fabrics that you like? Why haven't you jumped on the modern brights, tulip pink type fabrics, or have you?
I have a little cave one here. But I will admit that my lovely friend Linda from the States gave me the kit for that, so I didn't have to put any thought into it. But I think just in general, I love old things, like even down to the things that I put in my room. So Maybe I'm just a vintage girl at heart, and that sort of stuff attracts me. I'm not sure. Maybe I was born in the wrong time, but I do really enjoy our modern conveniences. Yeah, so like even, got my featherweights, and yeah, just even like the books I like to read are historical, so I don't know, maybe that's just the way I am.
That's good. But of course, it's not just your love of reproduction fabrics and reproduction style quilts, but you're also a passionate hand quilter and a beautiful hand quilter too.
Thank you. I think that was born because I just really wasn't very good at machine quilting. It's really a bit soul destroying to put a lot of work into a really nice quilt top and then have it be ruined by average machine quilting or just average quilting full stop. So I don't know, I just started working at that and practiced, and I'm getting better at machine quilting, but I still prefer to hand quilt. I think I just like the finish that it gives as well. But having said that, I really admire the amazing machine quilting that so many of our guild ladies do. It's just amazing.
It is. Now, hand quilting can be done in a variety of techniques. What's your favourite?
I tend to stab mostly. I can do running stitch, but I just don't get the tiny stitches that I really want. So, and particularly in a quilt that's got lots of seam intersections and stuff, it's really hard to do running stitch through that. So mostly I've been stabbing these days, which sounds like it's cheating, but if it works, it works.
I never had any luck. I get zigzaggy stitches on the back, so I admire your talent for getting it perfect on both back and front.
Well, it isn't, but thank you.
Did you learn a technique from anyone, or are you totally self-taught when it comes to
I taught myself with that. Yeah, I haven't really. Oh, actually, no, I did do a class a really long time ago. Was it
the Thimble Lady?
Yeah, but I just couldn't get my head around it. Yeah, I struggled with that. I think that's right. I know that I've got a few of her thimbles and had a go with that. Trying to remember if that is right. I feel like I have done that.
But it obviously wasn't a huge impact.
It hasn't. Yeah, it hasn't stuck. My filing cabinet's getting full. Not everything stays these days.
We all know that feeling very well. So, do you see yourself carrying on into the future with this style of quilting?
Yeah, I just really enjoy it, and the thing that I love the most is doing a project that takes a long time. I don't know, I sort of get invested in it, and I just want to do one thing at a time. It's unusual, I know. Most people like to have several things on the go, and I do kind of, but I'll have a hand piecing project that is portable.
Yes.
I'll have something that is my main project, and then I've got my hand quilting project, and that's pretty much what I stick with. So
now, some of those projects take you a year or more, don't they? The one you just finished and will go into Festival of Quilts.
Yeah, that's been about 3 years in the making. So, but there was time when I couldn't really work on it. I injured myself playing tennis. And, you're right, arms really important when you're quilting.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
Now, next month, of course, is Festival of Quilts here in South Australia. And it seems like forever ago, because of COVID, we invited you to be our quilter in residence. And we are wildly excited about you having, I would say, a fair number of these quilts on show for us.
There's not as many as people think, but I'm certainly happy to bring them along.
So when you're there, what are you planning to do to show and inspire?
I'll take some applique along to work on so people can see what I'm doing, but that's easy stuff. But I'm actually really excited to connect with people again. It feels like I haven't seen anybody in ages.
I think we all feel a bit like that.
Yeah.
And I've had people say, you are so lucky to be able to have a show.
Oh, I know.
This is one of the first state shows in quite some time.
I know. I just can't even believe that it's finally happening. It seems like such a long time in the making.
It does.
So what that actually did was it gave me a bit of a reprieve. I didn't have to rush to finish my quilt. I was worried about it, and then it was like, oh, okay, well, I'm going to get it done. So that was really good. I wasn't certain that I'd have it done for the original deadline. I was obviously hoping to, but it wasn't a sure thing. Yeah. So
now, quilting isn't your only passion. I follow your blog, so I'm very aware that you may have a few more pairs of shoes than many of us. Even those of us who like shoes, you probably are the winner. She who dies with the most shoes wins.
my mum will win.
Will she?
Yeah, my mum. My mum has
So
more
there's got to
shoes
be a
than I
gene.
do. I have more than average, over 100. I'm not sure, but and my daughter loves shoes, but she has less than me. So now that little Mary's in the world, you know, she could be normal.
Or fourth generation
Yeah.
shoe collector.
Yeah.
But you also have a fascination on collecting china.
Yes, I do. I have a lot of pieces that my grandmother and my nana have given me, and for some reason I just really fell in love with red and white transferware, so I've been madly collecting that for years, and we use it every Christmas, and I'm really a bit fussy about it, and I don't let anybody touch it other than eating from it. Well, that sounds weird. That's not quite right. I don't let anybody wash it.
Okay.
It can't go in the dishwasher, and so I won't let anybody wash it. Not because I'm worried that they'll break it, but I know people will feel bad if they do, and so I'm saving them from feeling bad.
Is it getting harder and harder to collect some of those things that you focused on?
Yes. The Mason's Vista, which is my favourite one, it's hard to find them because it's actually a really popular pattern. In fact, I believe it's the world's most popular collected vintage china, and or the most popular pattern to collect. And the pieces are getting really expensive. So like if you break a dinner plate, it's going to be at least $50 to get a new one.
Ouch.
Yeah, and you sometimes find them at auction, and our lovely Vicky Hart has found sets at Small and Whitfield and quickly rung me and said, so I've bid on them, and I'll occasionally run across a piece in a second-hand shop, but they're always really expensive. Like there was some down at Victor Harbour, and you know, hundreds of dollars for a teapot or whatever, and it's not worth it. But I've also, I don't know if you watch Escape to the Chateau.
Yes, I do.
Oh my gosh, I love it. I've told my husband if he finds a 45-room chateau, I'm in. But she's been collecting egg coddlers on that show. So recently I've acquired some egg coddlers because my husband actually wanted them because he loves to eat eggs. So yeah, so I've got a few of those recently, so that's exciting. But yeah, that's
great.
That's the story with my china. Oh, and my grandma on my dad's side, she inherited from somewhere an amazing set of Susie Cooper. I think it's a coffee set, and then it's got like additions to it, like from I think the 30s or something like that. So it's really unusual, and I've never actually seen another set of it ever. And one of the lovely ladies that comes to group today, she came in with a dinner plate that matched the set one day with cake on it, and I was just like, what on earth? And she had her husband had it in the cupboard at his work. Some co-worker had left it behind, and she brought it home, and yeah, and I was like, oh my gosh, can I buy that from you? And she kindly gave it to me one day.
Lovely.
And so I found a cute plate in a shop somewhere and gave it to her in return. But it was just so amazing that, you know, like, of all the places for this plate to turn up at her work and then came to my house. Anyway.
It was meant to be.
Exactly.
Serendipitous.
Exactly.
Now, Tara, we're here today not only to interview you and to have a look at some of your lovely collections, but you have a group of women who are gathering out there. We can hear them. Now, this happens fairly regularly. Tell us a little bit about your group.
Yeah, so we started out coming to classes, many years ago now, and we now meet here, and wow, it's hard to explain, but we're sort of more like friends than anything else, and we share our love of quilting, and I encourage them to treat my home like it's theirs, and so they're in and out of everywhere, and you know, enjoy my sewing room, use my stash. You know, I'm happy to share. Yeah, they're just the most delightful ladies, and we're really good friends now.
And is it essentially a sit and sew day? Is it a day or a morning?
We're here from 10 to 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just bring along what they want to work on, and I'll help them if they need it. And yeah, it's easy.
Well, we look forward to meeting them.
They're really nice ladies.
And we really, really look forward to Festival of Quilts, which is on from the 29th of April to the 2nd of May, and seeing your wonderful display of quilts and seeing you in action, because you're there for all 3 days.
I believe so, yeah.
Okay, so please, if you are in Adelaide at the end of April, please come along to Festival of Quilts. I have it on good authority that we have lots of entries, so it should be a really good show.
It's exciting.
Now, I think what we will do now is take a little wander, and we might make a second video of Tara's other passions, excluding Marty. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.